Coronavirus. What is it that we're supposed to learn from this so called pandemic? I have a theory, but before I go into that, what do you think we will learn? I don't, to be totally honest, I don't think that the vast majority of humanity will really learn anything from this pandemic. I think what's going to happen is they're going to endure it as best they can. People are going to huddle in little cubby holes and continue to feed into the mass hysteria. And then once it passes, they'll go to praising God as if to say they had faith all along, that they knew in their heart of hearts that this too shall pass. When the truth of the matter is they were scared crapless that they can catch it. Some people are straight up worried about getting sick. I mean, and I'm pretty sure others are stressing over the potential of financial disaster because a lot of people are out of work. A lot of people have been ordered to shut down their businesses and stay home and what have you. So, but as far as learning something truly edifying, I don't know about that, because after all, as the old saying goes, history repeats itself. And that can be easily researched. Even in your own lifetime, your own lifespan, that can be researched in your personal circumstances. All you got to do is reflect and see your very own repetitive behaviors, your very own repetitive mistakes, your very own repetitive fears that's been holding you back and what have you. It's easy to show, easy to prove. And even on the collective scale, you can make the hypotheses that it's true. But it's interesting because this whole thing, you know, when I look at the news and they talk about this thing peaking, and they like, okay, well, you know, when it peaks at such and such a time and this and that, we can't let our guard down yet because until such and such a time that it peaks. How do they know when this thing is gonna peak? Because technically when it peaks, after it peaks, it starts to go downhill. I mean, it's as if they're predicting the weather or tracking a storm or something like that. It makes you wonder what's going on with that. And they're talking about this peak. I mean, they're even projecting dates. How is that even possible? I mean, you ever wonder about that, or do you just go with it? So, yeah, it makes me wonder. Nevertheless, when you think about what we're supposed to learn, I mean, it gets a little bit tricky. I mean, this is a disease, and it's supposedly contagious among humans, spread among humans, which means that we share not only a collective world, a physicality. It has to mean also that we share a collective mind. The same mind that we share is the same mind that created, not only created us all, but created everything that we experience on this worldly plane. So we share a collective mind and a collective consciousness. And that's the point that we seem to miss. And the theory that I had is that it's pointless. It's pointless to harbor hate. That's the theory that I have as far as the lesson we're supposed to learn. It's pointless to harbor hate at any level, at any capacity, because we all share the same mind and consciousness. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to even perceive each other or communicate with each other if we did not share a common mind, a common collective mind. Will we learn that it's pointless to hate? Because when we spit that hate into our collective mentality, whether it's hatred of our neighbor or hatred of China, who allegedly jump-started this thing, and if they did, that could probably be assumed that it's based upon their hatred toward us. But we all know that hatred toward others is basically self-hate. You have to have hate in your heart anyway to be able to project it on other people. So all hate is not only other hate, but it's self-hate. And a corrupt spiritual environment, a corrupt mental environment that's permeated with hatred brings on things like disease at a collective level for most people to experience and to suffer from. But will we learn that lesson that it's pointless to hate? That's debatable, because human egos don't understand that its very nature is hatred. It doesn't understand that. An ego doesn't understand that all it can do is hate. An ego believes that it's a real spirit being. Therefore, it believes that it needs to stay inside the human vessel in order to instruct, guide, and navigate the human spirit, when in fact it's setting up human spirits for self-destruction. But that's my theory. The lesson we're supposed to learn is we're not supposed to hate. We need to get over ourselves and quit hating on each other. Will we learn that? Most people don't want to give up their egos. They don't want to let go of egotism. If anything, I'm sure it'll change people. I don't know that it'll teach them lessons, but it will change them. I mean, if you think about it, trauma changes people. After they have a traumatic experience, what do? They react accordingly. They react. I mean, this thing, when it's all said and done, might turn some people into germaphobes. Some people might become compulsive cleaners and scrubbers and wipers, and other people might react by staying away from other people. Whoa, don't touch me. Back off. It'll definitely change people. Whether lessons are learned or not, that remains to be seen. Hopefully, some lessons will be learned. But in the meantime, do your best to stay safe. Do your best to build faith. And do your best to stay well. This is Dario Thomas. Subscribe to the Spiritology Television Network on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.